Hi folks, I am back with another movie review tonight. Yes, in the last couple segments we did a couple different movies that I really enjoyed. Elvira movies, Haunted Hills, and Mistress of the Dark, which I both gave pretty good ratings to. Now tonight we're going to talk about one of my favorites from the 80s. Now I think this came out in the 80s. I'm not even exactly sure, but Michael Myers earlier in the year, or actually about 3 or 4 months ago, did a review of this on my webcast, but I'm going to do my own personal review tonight. As you can see, we got all this weird stuff going. We got the weird clown in the background. I know y'all love that. We got Penny Goofball up in the background. We're going to tilt this cam up a little bit so you can see that creep. But yeah, anyway, I'm back with another movie review tonight. And those movies, actually, my reviews got actually a pretty good response. You know, I really appreciate the comments, folks. I really appreciate the likes and the views on my YouTube channel. I couldn't do this without you, friends, and I love y'all. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, man. I really appreciate it so much, man. Things are going really good on the webcast. I'm kind of taking control of things again, and Penny is still on, he's still deranged somewhere. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere in the background or something, sleeping, boozed up, drugged up, or whatever. He will be coming back. So, folks, don't worry. Penny is coming back, probably in the next couple nights. Anyway, we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies from the 80s. I believe it came out in the 80s or early 90s. Now, don't quote me on this. Now, the movie is called, I'm sure y'all have this movie in your collection. It's called The Funhouse. Now, I know this is a cult classic. I know this is an older movie, and I'm sure you all have got this. It was directed by Tobe Hooper. Rick Baker did the special effects in this movie, which I think are pretty cool. Now, it basically takes place in a carnival. It's a traveling carnival that settles down in this little town, USA, Mid-America, USA, whatever it is. And so everybody loves going to the carnival, and because it's got the rides, it's got the fun house, it's got popcorn and clowns, and it's kind of like the circus, really. But it's outdoors, and it's really, this is a very creepy movie. I watch this movie on a regular basis because it's one of those great movies where you can just kick back at night before you go to bed and just watch this movie. It kind of draws you right in. Now, like I said, I'm not sure exactly what year this came out. This is a standard DVD, and there's the front cover. Here is the back cover. Now it has people like, anyway, like I said before, Tobe Hooper directed it. Rick Baker did special effects. There's people, Sylvia Miles in it. You might recognize her name. Most of the other actors are young teenage couples or early 20s. You really wouldn't recognize a lot of these people, except for maybe the Carney people. They're kind of cool. And but it's a really creepy, sleazy carnival. There's something weird going on. And we soon find out that there's something really weird going on down there, man. Basically, one of the Carney guys is a stepfather to this mutant thing. I don't know what you want to call him. I don't even know if he has a name in this movie. Him and his brother were born at birth, and they came out as mutants. His brother died, and he's basically in a test tube in one of the freaky carnival exhibits on the Midway. And of course, the other one, the main bad guy of this movie is he helps at the Funhouse. He wears this Frankenstein. He's in his 20s, 30s. I don't know. It doesn't really make any difference, does it, folks? Because you really get to see him every once in a while, and he is hideous. Completely hideous, man. Hey, don't you guys think I'm looking really buff tonight? What's going on here, man? I am just gaining muscle left and right, man. Spidey has to, I fight crime everywhere I can find it, folks. And I really appreciate the support. Anyway, yeah. Oh, yeah, I am Spidey. Oh, whatever. I love joking around, and I hope you all appreciate these reviews. Anyway, back to the movie before I waste all your time. Anyway, so these two couples, teenage 20, well, they're teenagers, whatever, you know, 16, 17, 18 years old. Let's call them 18 years old. They decided to go to the carnival. You know, the town is thrilled that the carnival's in town, you know, so they basically go to the carnival. You know, they're walking around and everything, and they're go to have their fortune told and everything by, I think it's Sylvia Miles who's the fortune teller. She's just like the 60-year-old, 70-year-old fortune teller, and, you know, she's really, oh my God. You know, they're inside her tent, of course, you know, and once they're at the carnival and everything, and they're basically trying to get one of the little girls, God, she's so cute. I can't think of her name is, but you will find her. She gets her fortune told, of course, and the other three are sitting on the couch. They're all stoned out of weed, man. They've been smoking weed, walking around the carnival all night, you know. So they decide to go have. She decides to go have her fortune told, and the other three idiots are sitting on the couch making fun of the fortune teller, this poor lady who's trying to make a living, you know, and she just gets pissed off as hell at these people, you know, and she is, you know, she kicks them out, you know, so it's pretty good, man. And then, anyway, really the story really focuses on the mutant and the Funhouse ride. I'm sure you've all been on these rides before where you know, you sit in a little car and it goes through all these spooky little corridors inside the main complex, and things are jumping out at you and smoke and fire and, you know, stuff. You've been on some of these rides, of course, right? They're cool. You know, they're all, you know, anyway, so they decide to go into the ride, of course. Well, actually, we'll get to that in a few minutes. So they're walking around, you know, they're looking at strip shows and everything on the carnival, you know. It kind of has a little story before they get in on the ride and goes into the Funhouse exhibit, carnival ride. And so what's really cool about this movie, I'll get back to that in a few minutes because it really turns into a horror show, man. I really love carnivals. I love the whole atmosphere of the carny and all the rides and the midway section and all that kind of stuff. That stuff, same with the circus. I mean, I really love that kind of stuff, man. You know, I always as a little kid, I always wanted to grow up and, you know, and run away with the circus, you know, and maybe be some kind of a roadie or something, you know, and pitching tents and helping out all the performers and stuff. That would be so cool. Same with the carny. You know, there's a lot of cool stuff about carnivals and stuff like that. You know, a lot of people, you know, always make fun of people who work in carnival stuff, but, you know, I have a lot of respect for these people. They're on the road all the time, and they're basically, you know, pitching tents and going from town to town, state to state, stuff like that, you know, so I have a lot of respect for them. Anyway, back to the movie before I bore you to sleep. Anyway, so they decide to, well, actually before they go into the Funhouse ride, they decide to, well, actually they go in. Well, actually, before they actually do go in, and it's spooky as hell. They're, you know, like I said, everything's jumping on everything. But then, you know, when they're still walking, after they get done with the ride and everything, they decide, actually, wait a minute, do they actually go in? I think they might go in the second time, and before they go in the second time, basically what happens, one of the guys tells the other, why don't we just stay in the Funhouse all night long? You know, once we're inside the ride, we'll jump out of our cars, we'll basically just stay in there and make love with our girlfriends all night long. Of course, that's a huge mistake on their part because they end up really screwed up. Anyway, the carnival is run by, you know, basic people and everything. And of course, the guy that pushes the mutant, he basically pushes, you know, he gets people in their little roller car or whatever, you know. It's all, you know, you go on that rail type thing, you know. And he basically pushes them. He always wears a Frankenstein mask, the mutant dude, and Frankenstein hands and you know, the jumpsuit and everything. So they really don't know that, you know, the carnival people and the fans out there and the people don't know that he's actually a mutant. And so he basically pushes them in, you know, and they start going through the maze. Of course, the carts come out and there's nobody on it. He's kind of, what the hell, you know? I could have swore I'm not that stupid. Something just happened here. They were on their right, well, whatever. So they basically decide to stay inside the Funhouse all night, which is a huge mistake. There's other parts of the story too. The mutant basically is a sex addict, and he murders people, and of course he's trying to be you know, the people that run, that his stepfather and stuff of the carnival, they basically try to keep him under control. But you know, he has a tendency to kill people, and he loves women. And so what he does is, well, he hires Sylvia Miles, I think it's Sylvia Miles, the fortune teller, to have sex with him. And of course, she's snotty as hell to him. she forces him to pay her $100, and he's going through this like change box, and he's basically, you know, pulling out different amounts of money. She goes, "I need more." You know, love does not come cheap. You know, she has this little phony Eastern European accent, you know, and he gives her $100, and of course, she lays down on the floor with him, you know, and of course, you know, he it happens all too quick, and of course, she won't. He gets all pissed off and frustrated, you know, even though he did have some fun for about 10 seconds. And of course, he doesn't like the idea they got it ripped off. You know, $100 is $100, folks. You know what I mean? And so he murders her. And of course, his stepfather comes in and finds the dead body under a rug or something. You know, and it really sucks. And of course, these kids are already up there on the second floor of the funhouse. And of course, he comes in and he beats the little crap out of his mutant steps on, whatever it is. And these two kids, these two couples, are actually could see from the floorboards above that the mutant had killed the fortune teller, and they're just bummed out, man, because they're trying to keep quiet as possible because they know they just witnessed a murder. And so the father comes in, he beats the hell out of it. He finds out he just it's got some great. I could have gotten you one of those showgirls for $50, man. So you paid $100 to the fortune teller for this, you know. And of course, and then he this is really stupid. One of the kids' lighters drops down through the floorboards and hits the floor while he's beating the hell out of his mutant stepson. And of course, they know they're up there, but they won't say nothing because they know they witnessed the murder. And so, you know, that's where the fun really begins. I mean, the mutant and the stepfather start picking these kids off. The mutant mainly starts picking these kids off one at a time. You know, one kid gets hung up by his throat and dragged way up into the ceiling. They're actually in the fun house above the quarters of the mutant and his stepfather. So it's got some really, I mean, I really like this movie, man. It's really atmospheric. It's got some creepy sets. It's got just makes you kind of draws you right into this movie. You know, you kind of feel like you just want to be part of this. I would love to be part of this. And so anyway, the mutant starts to kill. He kills one of the kids, and then he kills one of the girls, and then he kills the main girl's boyfriend, you know, in the movie. And of course, she basically gets away at the end, but she is completely screwed up, man. She just witnessed three of her friends murdered. Of course, she does end up killing the mutant at the end. He gets squashed in these giant gears that kind of run the funhouse cars and everything that go through the maze and everything inside the complex. And but there's a lot of good stuff, and there's this little bratty kid that's the brother of the main girl who escapes at the end. He's trying to get in there, and I don't know why. He's got like a little side story. He wants to go to the carnival, but of course he can't because it's past his bedtime. You know, so, I mean, Rick Baker did the mutant is actually ugly as hell. It's like a split face. He kind of looks like he's got straggly white hair. You know, like three like claw fingers and something like that. And he's got this horrible looking face, and he has a scream that'll just, you know, send shivers up your spine, you know. And but he's really a complete degenerate, this mutant creature, man. But like I said, the carnival people keep him under control, you know, and stuff like that. And you know, there's a few other scenes in this movie that are pretty cool. You know, it basically takes place in the funhouse complex above and below, you know, where the ride is and everything. Except you get all kinds of exterior shots of the carnival and other people walking around, and, you know, stuff like that, you know, which you know, then there's this crazy old lady. She's walking, I don't know who she is. Maybe that's Sylvia Miles. She's walking around, she's talking about the Lord and everything and telling people to stay away from the carnival because it's evil. It's a really sleazy carnival, man. You know, they'll rip you off faster than you can blink, man. But it is a fun time, and I kind of wish I would I'd love to go to a carnival. I gotta see if there's any carnivals in my area because this sounds like a lot of fun to me. And so anyway, the movie's about 85 minutes long. Like I said, I'm not sure exactly what year it came out. Late 80s, maybe early 90s, something like that. Tobe Hooper, Rick Baker, Sylvia Miles. You know, it's a very entertaining movie. It's dark, atmospheric, it's creepy. You know, it just kind of, you know, it kind of draws you right into this movie. You know, I consider it a cult classic. I think a lot of people have this movie in their collection. If you're a horror fan, it's well worth having in your collection. It's a great little movie, folks. I don't know. I don't think it's available on Blu-ray yet, but like I said, I've had the standard DVD version for quite some time, and I do watch this movie on a regular basis. I don't know why, but I just do. There it is. Yeah, it has a creepy cover, a clown with an axe there, the Funhouse. I'm sure you all have got this movie in your collection, you know, stuff like that. There it is. Yeah, there it is. Without getting too much reflection from my ceiling lights here. There it is. Pretty cool, huh? Yes, the Funhouse. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's worth getting on Blu-ray, if it ever does come out on Blu-ray, but anyway, let's rate this movie. You know, I'm not going to tell you too many scenes. You know, it's if you like carnivals and creepy stuff, you'll love this movie. And mutant monsters. So, a lot of people think this is a pretty good movie. And I'm starting to fumble my words here, folks. I need to get my shit together. Spidey's getting kind of pissed off. Anyway, we're going to rate this movie. 1 to 10 spiderwebs. And I am going to rate this movie. Like I said, I'm not going to give you all the scenes. Well, you got to go rent this movie or buy it yourself. I'm going to give this movie, oh God, this is a tough one, man. I don't want to give it a 9 or 10, but I am going to give it at least a 7.5. Let's try 8. I'm going to give this movie an 8 because I consider it a cult classic and well worth having in your collection. You will not be disappointed by this movie, folks. This movie delivers. I think if you want a low-key, creepy, carnival, sleazy type of a mutant creature menacing people at the carnival and, you know, stuff like that. This movie actually delivers in a really subtle, creepy way. You know, I just I like this movie, man. This is the widescreen version, by the way. This is one of my favorite movies in my collection, folks. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of movies, and this is one of my favorites. This is a movie I will go back to time and time again because this movie just seems to get under my skin. It just seems to attract me. And if you're a real horror fan, you will love this movie. For all you've never seen this movie, check this movie out. Put this movie in your collection. It's well worth having in your collection, folks. It is a classic. You know, a lot of people have forgotten about this movie in the last 20 years, but you know something? This movie still stands on its own. It still delivers. It's still as good as the day it was released. And I would highly recommend that this goes into your collection just for nostalgic purposes mainly. I don't know. You know, you gotta think about that yourself, you know? Anyway. Yeah, we're gonna give this, what did I just say? I'm gonna give it an 8. 8 spiderwebs. God, you know, I should go higher than that. I'm going to give this an 8.5. How about 8.5 spiderwebs? You know, I don't care if you think it's a piece of crap. To me, it's a cult classic. So, 8.5 spiderwebs for this movie. And, folks, it's a good movie. Trust me. Trust me. I always know good movies. A lot of people, you know, I try to be very objective on my movies. You know, I try to find the good points, the bad points, you know, stuff like that. But this movie seems to deliver in all, you know, seems to deliver. It really does. You know, like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is my cup of tea. And I love drinking it. So, anyway, 8 spiderwebs. So, okay, we're gonna oh, I feel so good tonight. I'm sorry, folks. I'm really giggly tonight, and Anyway, if you want to comment after I post this on Facebook or YouTube, you're more than welcome to. And I appreciate all your support. So check this movie out, and we will see you next time at the movies. Later. Let's put this up before I leave. See now. So that's a good profile right there, right? See you later.